Hello. Well, there's the Equifax hack, which is going to cause a lot of trouble and aggravation and possibly serious life-changing problems. And there's a bomb on the underground, which was set to go off at a time when the train would be full of school children. And although it's shaken a lot of people, it hasn't actually caused any damage. But, you know, just thinking of what might have happened is terrible enough. And then there's the real issue of oppressed women in all sorts of regressive corners of the world. And then we get this. This is a headline from the Daily Mail. And it reads as follows: fists fly in politically correct punch-up after transgender activists try to TERF the TERFs out of Hyde Park. What are TERFs? They are trans-exclusionary radical feminists. I trust that informs you what they really are. Well, actually, it didn't inform me, but I shall continue with the article. Because into every life a little humour must fall. Maria McLaughlin, who describes herself as a gender-critical feminist, was attacked at Speaker's Corner in London's Hyde Park at about 7 p.m. on Wednesday. She joined around 50 fellow TERFs who were to be given details of the secret location for a talk entitled "What is Gender? The Gender Recognition Act and Beyond." TERFs are feminists who are opposed to some campaigning by transgender women. Yeah, right, that answers everything. I want to warn you, I looked up TERF and discovered that according to TERFs, the term is a slur. And if you use that term, you're a misogynist. So here we have a situation where people are a certain type or category or you know, have certain opinions, but if you use the term that describes them, you're a misogynist. So I'm a misogynist. Right, well, that pigeonholes me. Hang on a minute while I hit myself. I follow the Greek custom of keeping the violence off stage. God, I hate women. More from the explanatory page. Within feminist and trans discourse, the term refers to a very specific type of person who wraps anti-trans bigotry in the language of feminism. A hallmark of TERF discourse is that it tends to sound a lot like the anti-trans rhetoric coming out of extreme right-wing groups. The woman who invented the term, though, denies that it was meant in any way as defamatory. She says it was meant to be a technically neutral description of an activist grouping. But that's what the problem is, isn't it? The rule is, whatever it means, take offence. Yeah, I still can't make sense of what that woman meant. But it doesn't matter, so long as I can take offence at it. Oh, back to the article. The event was originally scheduled to be held at a community centre in New Cross, which is in southeast London, but was switched following online warnings of a protest from trans activists. Among the groups threatening to protest were the, now hang on, let's get, because I'm always losing the letters, LGBTQ plus society from Goldsmiths University, an organisation called Sisters Uncut. What do you think Sisters Uncut might mean? No, I don't think I want to go there. And the other organisation was Action for Trans Health, London. Miss McLaughlin told the Mail on Sunday, "I was chatting to one of the speakers, Miranda Yardley, and people started to come who looked different from the rest of us." I'll bet they did. Hang on, just a minute. Isn't difference what we're supposed to be supporting in all its forms? Back to Miss McLachlan. These studenty looking types were turning up. We can't have studenty looking types, can we? And some arguments started to take place, but I kept well out of it. Miss Yardley is a prominent transgender writer and was guest speaker at the event along with Dr. Julia Long, who describes herself as a lesbian feminist and defender of women-only spaces. Okay, well, that's great. You know, synagogues and mosques, they've also got women-only spaces, haven't they? So maybe she's just defending that. Let's segregate women out of life altogether. Anyway, Miss McLachlan said, Julia said she was going to sing a song she'd written. She took a megaphone, and as soon as she put it to her lips, those kids started shouting, "When the TERFs attack, we fight back!" Then suddenly someone tried to grab my arm. I mean, it should be, it could have been serious. So somebody tried to grab my camera. This is McLachlan talking. It was scary. I think it was a girl, but I couldn't tell because they had a hoodie over their eyes. Well, there's no difference between the genders, darling, so how would you know even if the hoodie was off? Continuing with the article, mother of two, Maria McLachlan. Mother of two? You mean she made the same mistake twice? Later identified as one of her attackers, a trans woman who is currently trying to raise £5,000 for vocal cord surgery to make her voice higher. I'd have thought that... No, hang on. I want to interject it. Calm down. I have a friend who made the transition from man into a woman. She has a low voice, but I swear at no point ever did I ever have the feeling when talking to her that I was talking to anyone but a woman, because that's what she was or is. If you feel you need the surgery to change your voice, which is basically you, then you are simply a plastic surgery junkie. That's all there is to it. And you probably have a mental illness. Anyway, several feminists, this is the article again, called 999, which is, as you know, what you dial to call the police round here, and 3 cars containing 6 officers arrived on the scene, but no arrests were made. Notes were passed among the feminists letting them know the secret venue was the University Women's Club in Mayfair. They left in small groups, hoping not to be followed, but were tracked down by the activists. Another feminist said tension remained high at the venue. The staff had to form a human chain to let our people in and keep protesters out, she said. Because students from Goldsmiths had been so vocal, one assumes non-surgically enhanced, in opposing the original meeting, the feminists believe they formed a section of the protesters. A spokesman for the university said, Goldsmith prides itself on its diverse and inclusive community. We uphold the right to peaceful protest, but cannot condone violence. Action for Trans Health London issued a statement saying, we condemn violence against women in all forms. Now there's an interesting use of some non-specific grammar. Violence in all forms, or women in all forms. What did they mean? You know, I'm a bit of a grammar Nazi, as you know. We're proud that many self-organising activists, allies and supporters stood against hatred, misogyny and intimidation. Does anyone know what that means? Please, comments below, because I don't understand a word of this. A Scotland Yard spokesman confirmed an investigation was ongoing and video evidence would form part of their inquiries. So, instead of chasing terrorists, the police have to waste their time on a bunch of self-obsessed nutcases who think in slogans and talk in gobbledygook. Oh, that's just great, isn't it? I'm sure all those 12-year-old baby machines in Afghanistan, enslaved to bullies who like to call themselves men, will be mightily relieved to know how seriously people in Hyde Park take their condition.